Shabbat Shalom, everybody. It's so nice to see you all virtually, of course. Look forward very much to being back together in person. But for tonight, thank you to Cantor Glaser for being in our sanctuary so we can feel like we're there with you a little bit, and Rabbi Phelps for dangling from the ceiling so we can see the dome. Jonathan, thanks to you for bringing us our beautiful music from somewhere upstairs, and to our whole team for making this work from a distance. I want to welcome Alan Mervis, who's a member of our board of trustees. I guess I should tell you who I am in case you don't know. Rabbi Jessica Graf, and together with this wonderful team, we're really delighted to share Shabbat with you at Congregation Share Israel. And now, Alan Mervis is a member of our board of trustees and a very appropriate person to welcome us because he's usually the person when we're in person who is the first one to give you welcome and a siddur when you walk through the doors of the sanctuary. So Alan, hello and Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Says Diane Fellman on the bottom, but this is Alan Mervis. Diane is right next to me. And Jessica, Rabbi Graf, you stole my line, which is, I think I know most of you on this on the Zoom because I stand in the back and pass out books. So, you know, in reflecting on the difference of those days, oh so long ago, versus today, you know, the reason I do it is because I do the passing out of the books is I really enjoy the opportunity to see people come in, have a word or two, if the line's not too long, and you know, and connect. And this is a different kind of connection. I find it still, it's fun to look at all the little squares and look at people's houses and, you know, their setups and you know, because when you're standing in the back of the room, what do I see? The back of people's heads. So now this is the chance where I get to see everyone's smiling faces and feel a different type of connection. So the only other thing you know, there's lots of things one could talk about. It's the second week in the return to normalcy. It's still slightly light outside, going to get lighter and lighter later and later, which is great. And I guess the last thing I would say is for those of you that I maybe don't know who aren't yet members, there's always an opportunity to become a member. We enjoy and we invite you to come join us in a more formal way. Other than that, back to you, Rabbi Graf.
Rabbi, I've made an error with the sheet. Let's do candles before we do our Kabbalat Shabbat, please.
Okay, absolutely. But just before we do that, before we do what we're going to do in a few minutes, we would be completely remiss if we didn't get to say hello to your namesake over there, your computer namesake, Alan, Diane Fellman, who is a very important person at Congregation Share Israel in her own right, though off screen. So Diane, we want to say hi to you. We could see you for a sec. Let's see, why are you not coming up? Gordon, can we spotlight Diane there?
She's spotlighted. It's your view is the problem, Rabbi.
Oh, well, there.
Hello, everyone. And, you know, at least this week when we pray, we can thank God for the rain. So.
Exactly. And Diane, tell us, you both are so central to Congregation Share Israel in all of the work that you do to build our community. Will you just say a word about what you spend your time doing at our congregation?
So my most favorite thing that I do each week is bake cookies for Hamotzi. And I really enjoy doing that. There isn't one favorite thing. I also am a member of the Hills of Eternity board, and I'm participating in the Social Action Committee's anti-racism discussion.
Awesome. It's as if you're here every single day, even though we're all virtual. So thanks so much to both of you, and Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
And now I understand that we will be lighting candles. Yes, Cantor?
Yes. It's a little problem with the spreadsheet line up there.
No problem. We have a really super important dude to light candles for us tonight. And I think he might even be with the rest of his family. Well, I guess I do.
He is indeed. The whole Foss family is looking sharp this evening.
No, there's something wrong with my settings because I can't see them huge, but I will hopefully do that as soon as we start to hear them speak. So
you gotta switch out of gallery view.
Okay, I'll work on that somehow. Tomorrow, oh, there we go. I see the Fosses. Hi, Fosses.
Oh, hi.
Tomorrow afternoon. Trevor Foss is becoming bar mitzvah in our congregation, and along with his brother and his parents, he is here tonight to light Shabbat candles as we celebrate your family and your moment of becoming an adult in our congregation. We're so proud of everything you've done, even if you forget everything, which you won't. We're so proud of all the work you've done to get to this moment and your real leadership. Trevor, this has been something that you chose to do on your own, and you've brought your family with you into this learning, and we really welcome you and say mazel tov to you. So will you welcome Shabbat for all of us with the lighting of the candles and the blessing?
Okay. Should I sing the prayer while? Yeah. Okay.
Light first.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'hadlek ner shel Shabbat.
Beautiful. We had it in stereo. That's so amazing. Shabbat shalom, and we look forward to celebrating with you as you lead us in the chanting of Torah as you're called to the Torah tomorrow. Everyone is welcome to join us at 4:30. More information about that later on. So Cantor, will you introduce our special Shabbat service tonight? There's something wonderful in our Torah portion and wonderful in our calendar that we get to celebrate as a result.
Yes, so we are celebrating Shabbat Beshalach, although Trevor's ceremony is in the afternoon, so he's going to be Parshat Yitro, but this evening we are celebrating Shabbat Shirah, Shabbat Beshalach, when the Israelites cross the Sea of Reeds and they sing that song of freedom, Micha Mocha, and it's we usually have a very special melody for Shabbat. And we also love to include as much music as possible. So we're going to do a few different psalm settings to kick us off for Kabbalat Shabbat. We're also going to be honoring Debbie Friedman, who her yahrzeit was a couple of weeks ago, but you'll notice that a lot of organizations are honoring her this week because she did die on Shabbat Shirah, and she is, of course, such a wonderful presence and composer in Jewish song. So we're going to kick things off with Joey Weisenberg, L'chuna Ranana. He wrote that Lincoln's Nigun that we often sing, so this is his setting of L'chuna Ranana. L'chuna Ranana L'Adonai Nariya L'tzur Yishenu Nekadma fanav betoda bizmirot nariya lo yarai rai 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 yarai rai rai L'Adonai Nahariya L'tzur Yishenu Nekadma fanav betoda bizmirot nariya lo yarai rai 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 yarai rai 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 yarai rai 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 Weisenberg's beautiful setting of Lechu Naranana. The next part of our Shabbat Shira that we're really going to embrace is this Shiru Ladonai Shir Chadash, which of course means sing to God a new song. So let's do it. This is a setting by two friends of mine in Israel, Boaz Dorot, and Shani Ben Or. Shani is actually a rabbinic student. She was a cantorial student in New York for a while, and then they dragged her back to Jerusalem. But this is their beautiful setting of Shiru Ladonai. It's very energetic, and we're definitely going to be using it in the future. Sorry, can we get a chord? Shiru Ladonai, Shir Chadash, Shiru Ladonai, Kol Haaretz, Shiru Ladonai, Baruch Shemo, Basro miyom leyom leshuato. Shiru Ladonai, Shir Chadash, Shiru Ladonai, Kol Haaretz, Shiru Ladonai, Baruch Shemo, Basro miyom leyom leshuato. Sapru hagoyim kevodo, vechol ha'amim niflotav, ki gadol Adonai, umehulal me'od, norahu al kol Elohim. Shiru Ladonai, Shir Chadash, Shiru Ladonai, Kol Haaretz, Shiru Ladonai, Baruch Shemo, Basro miyom leyom Yeshuato. Sapru v'goyim kevodo, v'chol ha'amim niflotav, ki gadol Adonai, umehulal me'od, norahu al kol Elohim. Shiru Ladonai, Shir Chadash, Shiru Ladonai, Kol Haaretz, Shiru Ladonai, Baruch Shemo, Basro miyom leyom leshuato. Shiru Ladonai, Shir Chadash, Shiru Ladonai, Kol Haaretz, Shiru Ladonai, Baruch Shemo, Basro miyom leyom leshuato. Our final psalm setting for Kabbalat Shabbat that we're going to look at this morning is a wonderful group, Nava Tehillah. I know they visited you guys a long time ago, so some of you may know this one. We're going to do Mikolot Mayim Rabim, the voices of many waters, which is very fitting for the Israelites crossing that sea. So we're going to finish our Kabbalat Shabbat settings with Mikolot Mayim Rabim. Mikolot Mayim Rabim, Adirim Mishbereya. Mikolot Mayim Rabim, Adirim Bishmereya. Adir b'marom Adonai, Adir b'marom Adonai, Adir b'marom Adonai, Adir b'marom Adonai. Mikolot Mayim Rabim, Adirim Mishbereya. Mikolot Mayim Rabim, Adirim Bishmereya. Adir b'marom Adonai, Adir b'marom Adonai, Adir b'marom Adonai, Adir b'marom Adonai. Mikolot Mayim Rabim, Adirim Mishbereya. Mikolot Mayim Rabim, Shalom Adonai. Shabbat Shalom.
Beautiful. Shabbat Shalom. What a wonderful way to welcome Shabbat into our midst. And Cantor, you had people out there dancing. Even Julie House, who's really a dancer, like all over the place. You could see you. So how wonderful. And I can't wait to do that in our giant sanctuary where we're all dancing as soon as possible. So as our voices are warmed up, we invite the angels of Shabbat to join us, to come into our homes and our lives, to allow us to leave the week which has ended behind. Take a deep breath and welcome each other, welcome a sense of peace and 25 hours of calmness and rest that we begin to make space for now.
Lecha dodi לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה. lecha dodi לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה. שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשם לתפארת ולתהילה. lecha דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה. lecha דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי היא מקור הברכה, מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. lecha דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה. lecha דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי התעוררי ואורך קומי אורי 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 שדברי, כבוד אדוני אלייך נגלה. lecha דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה. lecha דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה בואי חלה. lecha דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה. lecha דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה. lecha דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה. lecha דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה.
Awesome. Alan Mervis, you get extra credit for the lecha dodi dance and the Fastas I saw you, and so many other little boxes where people are moving, which is so beautiful to welcome Shabbat. Kabbalat Shabbat is all about warming ourselves up spiritually and preparing ourselves to enter into our vit, into our evening service, with our voices and our bodies just being ready for Shabbat to come in. Sometimes takes a little while when we come from the outside or prepare ourselves. So Kabbalat Shabbat gives us time to do that. And now we arrive at the Baruch Hu, the call and response, which is the first time in the service where we actually need to have a minyan, a community, to be able to respond to the cantor and say, yes, we are here together and prepared now to stand as one community. Baruch Hu.
Yai dai dai, yai dai dai dai, yai dai 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 dai, yai dai dai dai, yai dai dai dai, yai dai 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 dai, yai dai 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 dai, yai dai 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 dai. Dai 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 ברכו את אדוני המבורך. ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד. יאי די 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 יאי די 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 די.
Take a deep breath, maybe even close our eyes and shut out the world for a moment as we become ever more aware of God's presence inside of us. Shema.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Let's invite up again our wonderful Bar Mitzvah, Trevor Baden-Foss, to join us and lead us in Ve'ahavta.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, now? Okay.
Now is
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לפניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם על ידיך והיו תותפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Adonai Elohechem Emet. Yasher Koach, beautiful chanting, really, really beautiful. Going to be great tomorrow. We're so proud to have you with us tonight, and thank you for leading us.
Yasher Koach. The prayer you just chanted says to teach all of these prayers to our children. So that proves we're doing a good job. Excellent. We'll continue with Micha Mocha, which could not be more appropriate than on this Shabbat as we celebrate the exodus from a narrow place, from a tiny place where we didn't have our own freedoms, out into a place where we are free to choose how we want to live and how we want to build our world. And so on this Shabbat in particular, as we come to Micha Mocha, we celebrate the miracle of our freedom.
Micha mocha ba'elim Adonai, Micha mocha nedar b'kodesh, Nora tehilot, osef eleh. Yai dai 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 yai dai 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 yai dai 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 yai dai dai yai dai 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 dai. Micha mocha ba'elim Adonai, Micha mocha nedar b'kodesh, Nora tehilot osef eleh, Nora tehilot מלכותך ראו בניך חוקי הים לפני משה ומרים זה לי אנו ואמרו זה לי ואנו ואמרו אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד אדוני ימלוך לעולם
We continue with words of Hashkivenu as we ask God to shelter us under God's sukkah of shalom, temporary dwelling of shalom that we know is so fragile and for which we are so grateful.
השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, לשלום, והעמידנו שומרנו לחיים. ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך, ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך. Shelter us beneath your wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us daily wrong from right. Amen. 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 Amen.
We now invite you to rise as able in your homes and join us in the Amidah, the standing prayer, the center point of our service. I encourage you to take a moment to think about your kavanah, your intention, what it is you most need to pray for this evening, as we join together in prayer. Please join us.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim ve'Konei Hakol, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם. מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך? מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישוע, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיה הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
We now invite you to take a few moments to pray silently, whatever words of prayer are most in your minds or in your hearts this evening. We'll enjoy some music as
יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. I'm sorry, I'm just taking over tonight. No rabbis allowed. But I thought since it's Shabbat Shirah, we would have a bit of a sermon in song. So this evening, we're going to do a bit of an in-depth exploration of the text of Veshamru and a few of the different musical settings that I really love. So it's actually a verse that generally, I mean, in Reform situations, we kind of know it as this song, right? But it's a text. It's a pasuk that precedes the Amidah that's known as the Piska de Yoma. And what this is kind of, you say it before the Amidah to kind of set the tone. And each of the festivals has one. There's one that's the same for Sukkot and Pesach. One for Rosh Hashanah, we say Tiku v'chodesh shofar. And on Yom Kippur we say Kiva Yom Hazeh Yichaper Alehem. So there's these kind of texts, and obviously Shabbat happens a lot more often, so we know this text really well. It comes from chapter 31 of the book of Exodus, which we're going to read in a few weeks, which is kind of the second time we have the Ten Commandments, the first time being with Yitro, that we're going to hear from Trevor tomorrow. And basically it happens just before Moses is sent to get the stone tablets, kind of implying that this text, that the Jewish people will keep Shabbat, and it's going to be kind of this covenant, this sign for all the ages, forever and ever. And most importantly, that on the seventh day, God rested, and that's kind of that Shavat Vayinafash, which is the last text, the words of Veshamru. We have three beautiful settings. The first one is from Louis Lewandowski, so 19th century composer at the Neue Synagoge in Berlin. Really amazing. We know him from his big kind of Hallelujah that we hear on the high holidays here, and wrote a lot of beautiful Jewish choral music, and is really kind of the continuation from Solomon Sulzer, who was kind of the first organ choir composer from the Jewish tradition. And really beautiful word painting in this text. So look out for the Hashamayim in kind of towards the end of the piece. There's a beautiful major arpeggio, ba-da-da, and then it comes back down for Aretz, meaning earth. So we go up for heaven and down for earth. It's this very beautiful setting of this very beautiful text. So first we're going to hear Louis Lewandowski. Shabbat ledorotam berit olam beini uvein bnei Yisrael. Oh, ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ וביום השביעי שבת was Beshamru number 2. I don't know the first one, but he did write another one by Louis Lewandowski, and we are so blessed to have Jonathan here, Jonathan Dimmock, our amazing music director, and working with him as an accompanist is always a joy, especially on this kind of music. Yes, have a wave, Jonathan. One other thing, sorry, one sec. The second setting we have is by Meir Finkelstein, and he is kind of 100 years later, definitely, 1880s to 1980s. He is a very contemporary composer. I kind of tried to choose something that was the exact opposite of what we just heard. He spent a lot of time of his early life in England before migrating to the US, spending time at Temple Sinai in Los Angeles. His melodies are always really catchy, really upbeat, really boppy and tuneful. And particularly look out for this kind of big resolution at the end of the third refrain with this big Shavat Vayinafash, was rested and refreshed, and then we come back in with this big jaunty melody, and it definitely, hopefully feels a little refreshing for everybody. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ביני ובין בני ישראל ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם אותי לעולם ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם כי ששת ימים כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם וביום השביעי שבת וינפש ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. Beshamru by Meir Finkelstein, definitely something completely different. I thought we would give, excuse me, a lot of singing. I thought we would give Debbie the last word, and I think this was important to really show Debbie Friedman's eclectic and beautiful range of styles. She was mainly known for, her beautiful folk melodies, but this Veshamru, it really feels like there's this kind of sadness and seriousness about the Veshamru text. It's quite a haunting melody, and I think it's kind of reminiscent of some kind of a heavy music theater style, but also with a solemnity, I think, that reminds us a little bit of that first Lewandowski. So see if you can kind of hear the similarities there. Shabbat, et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat, ledorotam, berit olam, berit olam, Shabbat, et ha-Shabbat, la'asod et ha-Shabbat, ledorotam, berit olam, berit olam, beini Israel, oti le'olam, beni uven bnei Israel, oti le'olam. Sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz uvayom hashvi shavad vayinafash beini uven bnei Yisrael oti le'olam beini uven bnei Yisrael oti le'olam v'shameru bnei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat, ledorotam, berit So that was, thanks so much for listening, and hope we gained some appreciation for this beautiful text and the Torah of music through the eyes of and lenses of three very different composers. And Shabbat Shalom from our Shabbat Shirah.
Shabbat Shalom. Yasher Koach, thank you so much for sharing with us all the ways that a setting can show the different facets of a beautiful text and become an incredibly beautiful synthesis of music and text together. We now take just a moment to think of those in our community who are particularly in need of healing, those who need healing of mind, body, or spirit. And this evening we think especially of Shoshana Chana Asher, Rabbi Alexander Duchovny, Michael Enery, Ruth Kagan, William Kurian, Zach Migdale, Carolyn Reznikoff, Carolyn Olson-Stellman, and Hilary Van Trees. And to those names, we add any names of folks to whom you wish healing this evening, whose names you may hold in your hearts or share with us in the chat. We invite you to join us in chanting words of healing with Misha Beirach.
May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishe Beirach imotenu mekor habracha avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
We wish refuah shlema, full and speedy healing to all those in our community in need of it. We also, of course, when we come together for Shabbat, have the opportunity to celebrate simchas, joyous occasions that we may be observing in our lives. Of course, we know we have one really important simcha coming up tomorrow. We have Trevor's bar mitzvah, and he has done himself already a great credit helping to lead our service this evening. I also happen to know that it is Henry and Randy's anniversary this evening, so happy anniversary to you. Also, I think it may be Ingrid Tauber's birthday in the coming days, so happy birthday to you if you are on. And of course, Simcha's celebration of Simchas for all those who are sharing them currently in the chat. I see all kinds of folks sharing their joyous occasions. So in honor of all of these things, I invite us to join together for a Shehechianu prayer.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shehechianu v'kiyemanu v'higianu lazman hazeh.
Amen. As we prepare to conclude our service, we rise once more in honor of the Aleinu prayer, the prayer in which we remind ourselves and one another of our obligations to bring about a renewed and complete and peaceful world. Please stand and join us in the Aleinu.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו shemo echad.
Our thoughts now turn to those who have departed this earth. Our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and every nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. This evening, for Shiva, for the first 7 days of mourning, we remember Doba Gendelman. And for Shloshim, for the first 30 days of mourning, we remember Dr. Elliot Eisenberg, Jackie Fonero, Kay Payne, Jack Schaefer, and Cheryl Gerson-Tuttle. The perpetual memorials in our community are Judith M. Escalante Melvin and Art Rosenberg. And this evening, we also mark the following yard sites. We remember June Al-Hadef, Alfred Breslauer, Lila Cohen, Faye Doherty, Bessie Feingold, Max Gallant, Evelyn Igdaloff, Michael Igdaloff, Barbara Isaacson, Rabbi Joseph Karasek, Pearl Klein, Judith Kletter, Michael Lenvin, John Levin, Robert Paget, Lucille Pasick, Lawrence Prusner, Harry Pryweller, Ethel Regan, Lester Schreiberg, Rose Schumann, James Schwartz, Eva Seidman, Irving Shore, Shirley Sladnick, Howard Spiegel, Alexander Tsipis, Lena Wolf, Murray Wolf, and Rena A. Zimmerman. And to those names, we add all the names that you hold in your hearts this evening and that you are sharing with us in the chat. We invite you to rise as able and to join us in the words of the Mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, be'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uvyomechon, v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru, amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevarach le'olam u'almei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shmei d'kudsha brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru, amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shmaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. Usei shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. May the one who creates peace on high bring peace to us, to all Israel, and to all the world. Together we say, amen. Before we conclude our service with Kiddush and Motzi and a little bit of closing music, we take a moment now for announcements. So Executive Director Gordon Gladstone, do you have any announcements to share?
I do. So apparently there's a bar mitzvah tomorrow. I'm sure somebody has heard the details, but in case you haven't, it's at 4:30. There's a link in the email, and it's this guy, Trevor, who I hear is amazing. So you guys should come and check that out. There's also Torah study tomorrow, led by this
Led by
woman.
me.
What is her name? Oh, yes, Rabbi Abby Phelps. That's it. And finally, there is a conversation on the 10th of February. This guy, Jonathan Graf, he's a doctor apparently. Apparently he knows a few things, and he's going to be talking to Dr. Jonathan Fuchs. Two guys named Jonathan, go figure. And they're going to be talking about the San Francisco neighborhood vaccination program, which I imagine is of interest. Actually, I realized the other day that at some point, everybody over 75 is going to be vaccinated, and then all you folks will be out roaming the streets, wondering why you can't get a drink and the restaurants are closed and banging on our door. Don't do that. Stay home. Stay safe. In any event, I hope you'll join us for those. and many other things to come. And I turn it back to you, Rabbi.
Ooh, I have one announcement.
Oh, please.
February 3rd, that's Wednesday, this coming Wednesday, 5:30, we have some Black History Month anti-racism discussions led by Christina Jefferson and the social members of the group. So if you are interested in the group and you kind of want to get a chance to hear what they talk about, this is a good chance. It's a bit of an open house, if you will.
Yes, if you can join us on the 3rd, please do. And it looks like Rabbi Graf has something to add as well.
I just wanted to add a little bit to what Gordon said about the upcoming From the Front Lines on Wednesday, February 10th at 5 p.m. I am delighted to be able to share this with you. It's not just two doctors named Jonathan kind of hanging out and schmoozing, but actually Dr. Jonathan Fuchs is the head of the vaccine rollout here in San Francisco. He's an incredible guy, very involved in the Jewish community, a leader at the New Israel Fund. And also he ran a large part of the HIV program in the city and really understands how we deal with the public health crisis. And so he is a wonderful, incredible resource, and we are so lucky to have him coming to be with us. I think that Dr. Graf's okay too, our wonderful Rebbitzin, but the two of them will be in conversation about really what's going on and what this means and how this is working. So whether you're vaccinated or not, I think you will find this fascinating to understand how herd immunity is meant to be gotten, achieved, and what we're doing as a community in terms of the public health situation that we find ourselves in. So Wednesday, February 10th, 5 p.m. Thanks so much.
Thank you. And Cantor Glaser, did you want to add something as well?
No, all good.
Nope. Okay. Well, thank you, everyone. We hope you will join us for as many of these events as you can. And we'll now begin to conclude our service, starting with Kiddush. Cantor Glaser, if you would, please go ahead and lead us.
Sure. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, b'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh v'reshit. כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי בנו בחרת, ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh hashabbat. Amen. L'chaim.
L'chaim. And as is our minhag, we now invite you, if you have a challah in your home, to go ahead and hold it up so we can see everybody's chalot. I'm sure there are a lot of beautiful ones out there. I'm switching to gallery view so I can see some of them. I see Diane's, I see Valerie Jahan's, I see Joe Beth's, I see all kinds of wonderful chalot. So please do.
Beautiful one they're holding up too. Dorothy has challah. Joe Beth and Ira, yeah,
Wonderful.
all over the place.
Indeed. So
they're holding up a challah. Lots of little squares filled with chalot, which is wonderful.
it is indeed. So please continue to hold up those chalot. And Cantor Glaser, if you would, please lead us in the motzi.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'te'avon.
B'te'avon. Everyone enjoy. Ooh, Nancy has whole wheat raisin. That sounds pretty great. Well, as you enjoy your chalot, we will send you off into this Shabbat, into this day of peace and rest with some more beautiful music from Debbie Friedman. So please join us, if you know it, in singing Miriam's song.
And the women dancing with their timbrels followed Miriam as she sang her song. sing a song to the one whom we've exalted. Miriam and the women dance and dance the whole night long. And Miriam was a weaver of unique variety. The tapestry she wove was one which sang our history. With every strand and every thread she crafted her delight. A woman touched with spirit, she danced towards the light. And the women dancing with their timbrels followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one whom we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced and danced the whole night long. And Miriam the prophet took a timbrel in her hand, and all the women followed her just as she had planned. And Miriam raised her voice in song, she sang with praise and might. We've just lived through a miracle, we're gonna dance tonight. And the women dancing with their timbrels followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one whom we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced and danced the whole night long. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, everybody.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.